Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. This is indeed where men and women from around the world gather in defense of liberty. I'm your host, Bill Bailey, who will be channeling the patriotism of America's founding fathers. So, folks, YouTube found a short, 15-second short. You know, I already had a strike, which I have no reason why I got the first strike. They won't tell you. I mean, the YouTube moderators, you can't face your accuser. They won't tell you what you violated, other than they said it was promoting a dangerous conspiracy theory or something to that effect. And I appealed, and you just can't get anywhere with these folks as a rule. Then I got a second strike. Woke up about a week later, and which gives me 2 weeks in the digital gulag, right? For a 15-second short that I shared. That was all over the internet, and they said it was disinformation. I argued with them, but they didn't want to hear it, and so I'm one strike away from this channel being terminated. And they may do it, and I certainly don't have it coming, but it's a patriotic channel. I share a lot of the founding history of this country, truthful founding history, not the revisionary BS. That America is a noble nation, that we're a Judeo-Christian society. We were founded on those beliefs. And, because without religion and morality, our whole republic falls apart, which I think is what they're trying to do. The evil and perversion and sickness in this world, in our country, is off the charts. Never thought I'd see it in a million times. If my grandma and grandpa were alive right now, grandma and grandpa Bailey, they'd be rolling over in their graves. But I just can't believe how quick it's falling and going south. Real quick call out since I haven't been here in a while. MyPillow.com, go there, get the dream sleep. You get the sleep of a saint by getting the percale sheets or the Giza Dream sheets, the My Pillow 2.0, the mattress topper, and all the above. Mike Lindell has mastered sleepwear and sleep gear. And with this crazy world we're living in, you need a good night's sleep. So just use promo code SOL1773, no spaces, SOL1773. And then I always have my affiliate link for this channel, which I'd like you to use if you're shopping at My Patriot Supply. A special link that My Patriot Supply gave this channel. And I always have their clickable link in the description of my videos. Because you need to be stocking up. We have to keep our heads together during these crazy times. And, we have to stay sane when the world has went insane. And that's how you win, and that's how you survive. Just got to keep your head on your shoulders and prepare. That's all we can do. Be aware of what's going on, situation awareness, and be ready. And just keep preparing. I certainly am. Getting ready to till our garden and start planting and preserving food. And we have food, stacking it to the rafters, as Alaska Prepper would say. Weather's been beautiful here. And during my 2 weeks in the hole, if you will, I had got a lot of work done. Raking leaves, hauling brush, getting our place spruced up for summer. Getting our irrigation system running, and now I'll be cutting firewood, which I can. Renee and I get on it, 5 days, probably 5 days, 4.5 days. We can cut our whole winter's worth of firewood, split and stacked in the woodshed. I already have this winter's wood stacked because our woodshed holds 2 years of wood, so we're refilling what we burnt this last winter. And then this winter we'll burn the stuff that was already in there, and we just keep repeating that. So let's get to the news. A lot of stuff has happened during my vacation, and we will get here. Sorry the print's small, but the formatting here at antiwar.com doesn't fit the screen as well as some of the other websites. I'm going to start out now. We'll get to the war stuff. That's heating up. But let's start here. Did you watch the CNN town hall where this Caitlin Collins, I think is her name, was going to roast Trump, right? All right, Trump took the bait. He's coming to the town hall. We're going to pummel him. He'll be done this time. Teflon Don, nothing sticks to him because the guys did nothing wrong. And the one good thing I will say is through all this crap that they're throwing, I mean, the guys took more slings and arrows for us as a nation than anybody in my lifetime. Certainly Reagan didn't have to put up with, no president in my lifetime. Maybe in the history of this country, probably the history of this country, has taken the heat for we the people. And I just love the man. And I mean this latest thing where they, a girl from 1996, I think it was, this girl said, Trump raped me. In broad daylight, I think in some department store, not believable. So 1996, well, if you got raped by somebody, why did it take decades to come out? Well, we know what it is, right? Get Trump. And in Manhattan, where they vote 99.9% or something to that effect, overwhelmingly Democrat, right? And these are the extreme wacko lefties. Anybody that brings a claim there against Trump, somebody with money will help you and you can sue Trump and they're going to award you money. $5 million they gave this girl. Said, no, he didn't rape her, but it was probably forcible kissing or something. It's not criminal, but Trump, you owe her $5 million. They're going to start stacking them up because we're in this lawfare and they're going to try to burden them with endless lawsuits. And I'm going to tell you, if you watch Trump on that CNN stage where he owned the night, and it was a friendly crowd, in fairness, it was Republicans that filled the audience. I don't know what CNN was thinking, but they cut the mercy rule, this article here at the Gateway Pundit. CNN abruptly cut Trump town hall short by 20 minutes because he was just kicking their ass and the crowd was cheering him with every answer. He called the girl too. He said, you're a nasty, and she was just a nasty, evil person. You can tell she despises Trump and she thought she was going to get him. And, Trump didn't BS. He just sat there and told the truth. It's what I love about Trump. Politicians, because Trump's not a politician, there's always this pause, right? And I meet enough of them. When you ask them a question, or what about this, or what are you doing about this? There's this pause. And the pause is, what BS can I feed you that will make you happy where you'll keep voting for me? That's what politicians do. They all do it. It's the lie, okay? The pause to, BS or whatever. And with Trump, you don't have to wonder if he's telling you the truth or not. He obviously is. There is no pause. He tells you what he's thinking, what he believes, and he doesn't care if it pisses you off or not. It just doesn't factor in. That's what truth tellers do, folks. That's what truth tellers do. So I enjoyed this. If you want to watch this interview, I looked on YouTube. I couldn't find it. But if you go on Rumble to Badlands Media, they have the whole interview or it was a town hall meeting. But the CNN people were, their heads were exploding. Morning in America, Democrats and fake news hacks suffer collective meltdown following Trump's triumphant return to CNN. And, I think Biden, his town hall, there might have been 1 million people or just over that tuned in. And Trump, people don't normally go to CNN to watch Trump, right? It was like well over 3 million people tuned in. But I look at the Drudge Report and the headline, only 3 million people tuned in to watch Trump's town hall. So, we're living in the Orwellian totalitarian times. And we just got to, we all know what's going on. And we just got to say, yeah, you're full of BS and we know your gig and you're not fooling us. And then this is really heating up, folks. This, I'm going to tell you, the Biden crime syndicate, what they've done and what they're allegedly guilty of, is beyond anything of any president in the history of this country. Nixon, if Nixon was alive right now, he'd be saying, the deep state, I get it. The deep state set me up. What the hell am I resigning for? Because like he did nothing. Watergate was a non-event compared to this criminal activity. But if you watch that presser, they've got the goods. And they didn't get Biden's the bank statement stuff. So, well, they're never going to get them. But they did get them through a backdoor way of the people that paid the Bidens. And they're sending money's coming in from America's enemies, the CCP and other countries that are our enemies. This is a pay-for-play scheme. To LLCs, a bunch of LLCs, and then the LLCs are wiring money to like 9 Bidens, grandchildren, brothers, the son. How he doesn't resign right now tells you how broken our government, how gone we are right now. This guy should be removed from office and tried and imprisoned. This guy legitimately should go to prison. And the left, the communists, are really good at what they're guilty of. You go after the other side and accuse them of the same thing. And, we're living in wicked and evil times. And it can drive you insane, and you just got to stay sane during these insane times, because it's going to get worse and it's going to get darker before it gets lighter. But what's happened since 2020 is a lot of sprouts of liberty, people, groups, things we're winning on are sprouting and taking root. And they're going to grow quick, okay? The flames of liberty, they blaze really quick once people start joining in the fight. Because we are in a war for the soul of this country and the world, the free world. If America goes, it all goes. That 1,000 years of darkness Reagan warned us about is where we would be heading. I still am not, I'm still not convinced that we're not witnessing the last few pages of the Bible play out, of the last book of the Bible, in real time. The book of Revelation, of course. But that presser by Coomer and the group was fabulous. And they've got the dirt. And why the DOJ isn't doing anything, it's pretty obvious, right? They are the deep state. But Biden's just a puppet for the people in the shadows. They could put anybody there, okay? As long as it's their candidate. It could be a Republican that they can control and does what they want. And that's where Trump has upset the apple cart, right? He's not one of them, and he's gave the American people a seat at the table, the common person, the people that pay the bills in this country, the people that work, the people that are having their life's wealth stolen through this runaway inflation caused by this evil government. And the Republicans can take their blame too for the money printing. All right. So what else we got here? FBI stonewalls on smoking gun document alleging Biden family criminal scheme. So there is a whistleblower, a credible, from my understanding, high-profile whistleblower that has seen a document that totally incriminates the Biden families in their pay-to-play. And they've asked for that document. And I told Renee the minute I heard this, they'll never give it. They'll say it lost, building burnt down, it's destroyed. We don't know what they're talking about. It never existed. Hopefully this guy took a photograph of it with a smartphone or something. But they're stonewalling on giving this document because they're protecting the regime. They're the same group that said the Biden, 51 government agents signed off that the Biden laptop was disinformation. Now we know from the House committee that it's totally true. We know why they did it, right? But when our government no longer functioned, folks, the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, we're in real trouble, aren't we? The judicial system is cooked. Everything is perverted. I don't want to get off. It's another subject I was going to talk about, but I'll save it for another day. Title 42 is set to expire. Trump was strong on border security, right? We had energy independence, inflation under control, the economy was rocking and rolling, border security, law and order was coming back, three conservative justices on the Supreme Court, hundreds of federal judges that he appointed. America was really going the right path. I mean, no wars, right? Every day I think, matter of fact, Renee just mentioned it. Could you imagine if he'd have won and Trump was president, where we would be right now? Now the woke side would despise it because all that revisionary crap they're perverting our history with and our culture, and the global terrorist. Trump is their worst nightmare, right? The deep state that wants to run things, the cabal. But had he went back to back with his two presidential terms, we would be in wouldn't be utopia because we're still a fallen world, right? But things would be so good right now. Inflation wouldn't be eating us alive. People would be able to put food on their table and travel and do some of the things that they used to do. I can tell you right now that money's really tight. Savings, average savings deposits are at all-time low. Okay, credit card debt's at an all-time high. We have vacation rentals, and our bookings are and this is not us. Everybody in the vacation rental business in northern Michigan, and I don't know even if that's what we focus on, but it may be nationally, are way down because people can't even take a trip, to go up north and spend a few days in an Airbnb and go sightsee or whatever because the money they have has been eaten by inflation, and now what they used to be able to do on $20,000 or $50,000 takes much, much more to buy the same goods and services. Inflation is the worst tax without representation. It's theft by the government. And this is time and time and time again. The same results happen when you overprint a fiat currency. You go into hyperinflation and then collapse of that currency. That's what always happens. And so, is it intentional? I think on at least on one side, it's that Cloward and Piven strategy, overwhelm the system. I think this is part of the global reset. The left, the godless commies must hate our currency because, right, it says in God we trust. It's got our founding fathers on it, so we're always seeing part of our history. They don't know what we're doing with our cash, right? And the totalitarian state, that is unacceptable. You need to control they need to know where every dime of your money is. Matter of fact, soon, once they get this central bank digital currency, CBDC, if I'm remembering that right, which is coming, they will. And then the next step will be they will tell you when you can spend your money. They will freeze your account if you're not, right thinking. That's where we're heading. If this craziness isn't stopped, and that's why it's so important that Trump get reelected. We have to reelect him. I really believe it's our last bite at the apple. Everybody always says, well, it's the most important election. And they've progressively been the most important election ever. But this one is like not only the most important election ever in 2024, it's our last bite at the apple to save this republic and honor all the people that have gave their life and limb for this country so we can live as free people. I've said before, my family fought in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II. My dad was in the military. I have family serving now. And it just pains me to think of all that blood treasure. The people that have died in these foreign battlefields, Americans fighting for their family and for freedom and for us, for America, that we're losing it. And we can't allow that to happen. Just that is unacceptable. So the Title 42 is going to expire. There's like 1 million people on the border getting ready to overwhelm. Trump said in that town hall meeting, he believes it's not 4 or 5 million or 3 or 4 million people that are going to storm this. It's 15 million. And they're bringing in fentanyl. We used to, when you immigrated into America, you had to go through quarantine. And people were happy to do it because they knew they were coming here not for a free ride, not for a handout, for freedom. That's what drove people here. They were living under tyranny. And they were willing to risk life and limb to come across the ocean to get here. Look at Cuba, communist Cuba, the people that have died. Homemade boats and stuff trying to escape the tyranny and come to a free country. That's the carrot that brings people here. It was never about getting free stuff or a handout. And they were happy to go through quarantine. And I'm still looking for Renee's got immigration papers from a family member that came through Ellis Island and their oath to America. And I want to find this stuff because it was just such common sense. And these were artisans from Europe and, tradespeople. They came here that were going to be a benefit to this country, not a drag, not an anchor. And we've just lost common sense. But they're bringing, drugs, disease. My fear is, folks, when there's 15 million people, if Trump's right, but let's cut that number in half. 77,500,000. Okay? 1 million man army is a big fighting force, right? How do we know that with all this CCP owned, farmland, that these aren't military bases, covert military bases, and they're stacking their people in our country right now. The southern border is just a Trojan horse, and this is another thing by the Biden regime that's just unconscionable. The pullout out of Afghanistan, where he left our enemies with $80 billion of our state-of-the-art war equipment, pulls out the military and leaves Americans to be mistreated, murdered, raped, who knows. And then this whole thing with the House coming out with, the pay for play that this, and then to know that our government's protecting them because they're part of the criminal regime. It's this country's never faced a more formidable enemy, and I'm talking about the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, all of it. Okay, all the wars we fought. We've never faced an enemy like the one that's inside our borders right now. Call them communist. I just think they're communist, but globalist, deep state. They're evil. I believe if you ever read the 45 declared goals, and I'm not going to get into, because I hope everybody's read them by now, but just Google or DuckDuckGo or Brave, whatever you use for a search engine, the 45 declared goals of the communists to take over America. This was discovered. They were infiltrated the American Communist Party probably in the late 50s, ended up in the congressional record like 61 or 2. But they're just bullet points. You can read this stuff. You can read them, and you read all 45 in like 5 minutes, okay? And you're going to see what's been happening to our country, that they've made a plan and they've been working their plan. And I believe there's an updated list, but they're smart enough that we've never been able to get it. But that list alone will be a wake-up call to all of you. What's going on with destroying the nuclear family, destroying the church, destroying our government, destroying the education system, ultimately destroying America. And so I just think the true Democrat Party, which wasn't that far off center, right? Republican Party to the right and Democrat Party to the left, but with no extreme on the left from the Democrats. I remember the whole Baptist Bible Belt down south voted for Democrats. That isn't the case anymore. But that party Grandpa's Democrat Party no longer exists, folks. It's the Communist Party of America. It's evil, and they're destroying this country and the free world. And there's some, I will give the Democrats credit, the Democrat communists. They are a machine. They vote in a block. They're on a mission, and there's no bounds for them, right? They don't care about the law or what's right or wrong. It's about winning. I mean, they're playing Smash Mouth, as Steve Bannon would say. And then they've injected chaos in the other party, right? Because there's always infighting in the Republican Party. We're not unified. And we can't unify with the rhinos because they're just Democrats with an R by their name. So they've infiltrated the Republican Party and with chaos theory, I call it. And I started thinking about that the other day. I mean, that's such a disadvantage when one party is a streamlined machine and the other one is the party of chaos. And Trump has been able to overcome that. I mean, he's got the numbers. I just believe he's going to win. I believe people that didn't vote for Trump the last time, a lot of people, or they didn't like Trump, that are now getting maybe voted Democrat, okay, are getting a taste of what the Democrats are doing to America and the world, and it don't taste good. And I think they're going to vote for Trump. And my argument is, and people are welcome to comment, okay, Trump was president for 4 years. He gave us 4 years of peace and prosperity. What one policy, or name them all. Name one policy that Trump did that was bad for America. And I ask liberals this all the time, and they never answer me. So my gut is there isn't one. Okay, there isn't one. And the first thing the regime did that is in control now was they started dismantling everything Trump did, because Congress was just as dysfunctional during the Trump presidency, where, you got to do executive orders. Well, the problem with those, the next president can just undo them, which is what Biden did. Congress is, our government is so broken. Our founders never wanted presidents just doing executive orders, even when it's the right thing to do. Congress makes the laws, right? The president approves it, signs it, and it becomes law. And then if there's a problem deciphering the law, it goes to the Supreme Court and they rule justly. But nothing, everything's corrupted now. Executive orders, it's almost like a king, right? Or a totalitarian ruler. I'll just do an executive order. I don't like them, but, that's what you got to do right now, because unless you win Congress, the House and the Senate, and have the trifecta of power, there's just not much you can do. So that's enough on that. Just a few more articles, folks. They're important, so stick with me. DHS producing videos. This is the deep state again, right, folks, that despise conservative Americans, okay? Even the, I will say the libertarians, even them. But they especially hate moral, Christian, conservative, constitutional people, which mainly are going to be Republicans now, right? Because the left is, the Democrat Party is gone. So DHS producing videos teaching citizens how to identify radicalized conservatives. American First Legal, AFL, has obtained documents through FOIA requests from the Department of Homeland Security, which outline a choose-your-own-adventure style video that DHS intended to release to the public. The videos were meant to depict different scenarios in which citizens might encounter potentially radicalized individuals. Citizens are then asked to choose what they think should be done about the encounter. Most of the scripted scenarios showcase people with conservative beliefs and values as the radicalized threat. For example, the DHS targeted suburban moms with pro-life beliefs, those mama bears. So anybody that thinks, look, I would be on that list, right? And most of you viewers would. Anybody that knows our true history, that America is a Christian Judeo society, the most noble nation in the history of the world, the greatest republic in the history of humanity. Anything that goes against their revisionary history or their BS is their enemy. So they want to target them. This is what communists do. You go after your political opponents. Once they take power, usually corruptly, they go after their political opponents and imprison them falsely, put them in the gulags, or like Mao's China. Mao's China exterminate 100 million people, 100 million, and that number's all over. I think the low number that the Maoists exterminated of their own people in China is probably 60 million, but I'm hearing some pretty credible people saying the number's likely 100 million. That's that. Then this is over at antiwar.com, these last 3 or 4 articles. The war in Ukraine, they want World War III. This is insanity, okay, folks? This is insanity that you want to start war with a nuclear nation to the point where you want to break them and they're going to use their nuclear weapons, in my opinion. So UK confirms it's supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles. The provision of Storm Shadow missiles marked an escalation of NATO support for Ukraine. British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace confirmed on Thursday that London is providing Ukraine with longer-range missiles, marking another escalation of NATO support for Kyiv. The UK is sending Storm Shadow missiles, which are air-launched and can be fired from Ukraine's Soviet fighter jets. This is important, folks, because that means this. Because my fear is, and I think unfortunately will be proven right on this, they're going to fly into Soviet airspace and launch these missiles to attack Soviet cities in the motherland. And this just escalates things, right? It's mission creep is starting to turn into mission run or mission gallop or whatever. But it's just going to keep heating up and escalating more and more, and until we're in thermonuclear world war. My opinion. The UK is sending Storm Shadow missiles, which are air-launched and can be fired by Ukraine's Soviet fighter jets, according to CNN. The Storm Shadows London is sending Kyiv have a range of about 155 miles, but keep in mind they're not being launched from the ground, they're being launched from a plane. So wherever that plane is, that jet fighter, they can shoot a target 155 miles away. And the U.S., of course, is the Biden regime, we'll call it, right? Those people. U.S. officials happy the U.K. is preparing to send Ukraine long-range missiles. The rhinos I should include in that too. U.S. officials are breathing a quiet sigh of relief over London's plans to provide Ukraine with longer-range missiles. Politico reported on Tuesday. Yada, yada. Putin says the West has unleashed a real war on Russia in Victory Day speech. We have. I believe that's true. We've meddled with a country there on the Russian border. Imagine if Putin or China started meddling in Mexico and put a anti-American regime in there that was friendly to Russia and China, and started putting nukes right there in Mexico. We're not going to be none too happy about it. It'd be unacceptable, right? That would start a war with us. But their goal is, I think these delusional people think they're going to take out Putin, okay? They're going to they're working toward the one world government, and Putin's a nationalist, loves Russia and the Russian history, along with the Russian people, right? Who can blame them? You should love your country. And they see this as one of the greatest threats to them ever. And it's unfortunate that we fought with Russia to defeat Hitler, the old Soviet Empire. And then we went into the Cold War after it. But and defeated, NATO should have ended when the wall fell, the Soviet Union collapsed, because NATO was kept funded and kept in power to stop the Soviet Union from aggression in Europe. Well, the Soviet Union collapsed many, many years ago. But they're, the globalists have found a need for NATO, right? And Trump wanted to just pull right out of it because none of them were paying. Trump's been proven right on most everything he ever said. Taiwan says its military won't. This is a cute thought here, folks. Taiwan says its military won't let the U.S. blow up semiconductor factories. So the thought here is there would be like a doomsday, or how would I say this? A doomsday bomb, if you will, on Taiwan. That if China attacks, America will blow up what their economic windfall that China would like to have, the chip factories, which is like a $3 trillion industry. So this is floating around our U.S. representatives, right? Rep. Seth Moulton, Democrat, Massachusetts, or Maine, recently said the U.S. Should make a very clear, this isn't bizarre, make it very clear to the Chinese that if you invade Taiwan, we're going to blow up TSMC, referring to Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, which produces the majority of the world's advanced semiconductors. This would put us in a global depression. This is really stupid, and again, we got to stay sane during the insanity. But when asked about Moulton's comments, Taiwanese defense minister said the military wouldn't let that happen. It is the military's obligation to defend Taiwan. We will not tolerate any others blowing up our facilities. So great friends we are with Taiwan, right? Well, we're going to leave you out to dry. Apparently, if China attacks, I believe that wouldn't happen. We'd be in a heated war in the South China Sea. But Taiwan is an ally, and but just to let you know, Taiwan, if China attacks you, we're gonna blow up your country. This is bizarre. There's no sane thinkers in Washington right now. Apparently, at least on the Democrat side. I will say that I'm seeing some, I'm seeing a light of hope from the Republican side, but the House, they don't have the Senate. They can't do much, can they? Hang on just a second. Let me get rid of this. All right, there's some other stuff I wanted to share, but we're getting, as things get more and more heated in the world, there's like a jet stream of breaking news, happening daily or weekly at the minimum, and I just think it's going to get worse, folks, and we just gotta keep our heads on straight. Keep fighting the good fight. We need to be engaged, folks. Matter of fact, Ralph Rebrand gave a 4-part, he ran for governor here in Michigan, pastor, patriot, red, white, and blue founding father patriot. And he gave a 4-part series at a little church here in Central Lake. And last night was the end of it. And it was on neutrality, that Christians are not meant to be neutral. We are to be involved. It's really disturbing. If the Christians would come out and vote, if they would have voted, Trump would be president. God does not want you sitting in the church pews doing nothing as evil takes root. You are called upon to do your part. All of us are. And that was really a good message by Pastor or Reverend Rebrand. Got to get involved. You got to vote. God's going to hold us all accountable. You need to leave here this world fighting the good fight. And that's what I told his wife. I said, my thinking is We may be living in the, the end times. And if that's it, we know how it's going to play out. It's going to get a lot worse, right? Much, much, much worse. And if that's the case, that still doesn't mean we don't fight the good fight. I am leaving this world fighting the good fight. And if we would all do that, it's like 40%, during a presidential election year, 40% of Christians vote. During the off years, it's a way lower number. It's unacceptable. Just unacceptable. And I don't know how any Christian could vote for the party that murders the innocent, that has embraced abortion. I am a pro-life person, and it's just evil. And not to mention, there's 1,000 different birth controls now. They don't want to, they want to destroy the nuclear family. So that could be part of it, abort the babies. So there is no nuclear family. But it's evil. And to me, it's murder. Okay, everybody can look at it the way they want. I don't know that I have a problem with the two exceptions, rape and incest, because that is really evil. A pregnancy from that would maybe be the two exceptions. But I can tell you there's, can't think of his name, but his mom was raped, and he was the baby from that rape, the person born, the soul that was created. And he was a biggest advocate to end Roe v. Wade. And he was there when they made the decision, crying on the steps of the courthouse. And he's a wonderful person. So, good can come out of something so evil. So that's it. Get involved, people. Posting on social media and sharing stuff that we all probably are going to agree on is fine. It's nice to know that we've got friends in arms, that we've got a big family of like-minded people that want to save this country, patriots. But you got to get out of your wheelhouse, and you need to get involved in your county Republican Party. You go to the school boards, run for something, precinct delegate. A lot of people did this last time, but let's keep our numbers up. We still didn't fill all the empty precinct delegate spots, and not even close in this country. If you put your name on as a precinct delegate, you're probably going to get elected. Start going to your Republican county parties. Run for commissioner. Run for your township, but trustee on the township board. It all helps. Okay, doing nothing does nothing. I am holding a barn sale. I'm gonna because our Republican Party could use money, and we're gonna need a lot of money coming up to 2024 to buy signs. Not during the primary, but during the general election. We're going to have a Lincoln Day dinner. We're working. This is all stuff new. We've never had a Lincoln Day dinner. I'm going to have a big barn sale. People are in the Republican Party. You're going to donate stuff, and we're going to raise money. I mean, is it much? I don't know. We'll raise $500 to $2,500 off of that. But when the county Republican Party doesn't have $1,000 in the bank account, that's a lot of money. And it's just stuff like that. Everybody can be doing something. And I will tell you, I'm still a big believer in this. Give the money directly to the candidates you support. Okay? When you go through these PACs, they take a cut. The people that, the marketing companies for the PAC, they take a cut. The PAC takes a cut for managing. And then whatever's left, they give to the candidates they want to give to. Well, they may not be your candidates. They may be Republicans, but not the ones we support. Tough times ahead. So, as always, I end these videos with this. Keep praying, number one, right? Psalms 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. If God hears enough of us, if God is with us, who can be against us? And God will right this country, and evil will pay, and keep prepping, because humanity's been through some wicked times, and it wasn't the second coming. Okay, no one knows when Christ is going to return, but prepping is biblical, and definitely it is. You need to stock up. And stock up stuff for you, and then what the extra you get, you can help someone out, right? Another family member, a neighbor. But everybody should be prepping. Don't let up, okay? I did. We prepped big time during the Obama tyranny, but then when Trump won and, watch what he was doing, I thought, wow, world's right as can be again. And we started using our preps and stuff, and we were up to like 3 years of preps, and then we were down to like 6 months. And then, the last election happened, and the tyranny, that I've seen is unlike anything I've ever witnessed. And so we are prepping big time. I mean, we try to do a big shop every week, stocking up. And there's prepping for, if you don't have a big budget, just go on YouTube and put budget prepping. I mean, there's a bazillion preppers and prepping videos on YouTube. Just start searching them and doing your thing, though. Remember, mypillow.com, it's SOL1773 is the promo code, and the affiliate link to go to My Patriot Supply, that's unique for this channel, so please use it, is in the description. Get the water filtration, the long-term freeze-dried foods. They have a lot of other stuff at My Patriot Supply. Start stocking up. Fill your pantry first before you go there with just your normal canned goods and stuff. But that's it. Until next time, Sons of Liberty out.